Joining us now is Ukraine's ambassador to the UK, Vadim Prystaiko. Hello to you, Mr. Ambassador. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Suggestions that the meeting is taking place face-to-face in Washington because there are concerns about a nuclear attack. What is your understanding?
First of all, I'm quite happy that this conversation is taking place. This new development, especially the drones, which were bombarding our cities, and we understand that these drones came to Russia from Iran. This is a new development. We still have to find our answer. So I believe that both of these topics, the nuclear threats and the new waves of fighting with us, especially terrorist attacks against civilians, this is something both secretaries discussed.
How concerned are we about the conversation being about a nuclear strike?
We're not concerned that they're talking about the nuclear strike because that's what we hoped for quite a long time already. And let's not forget that UK and US, both of our guarantors for our independence and our sovereignty, because we gave up the nuclear weapons in the first place in 1994. So this is a very timely conversation. I wanted it to happen like half a year ago, years ago, but at least they are now talking quite seriously of how we're providing this promised security to Ukraine in exchange of the nuclear weapons.
Yeah. How concerned are we about what's happening with your nuclear power stations?
This is something we have to be concerned. There are different dimensions to that. First of all, if there are any nations in the world who would understand the gravitas of the situation, there will be probably Japanese and Ukrainians after the Chernobyl. So we know what we're dealing with. Second, they are trying to, to take off the grid. They are trying to bring all our electricity generating facilities and equipment. Most of all, the most important, the nuclear stations. We are second only to France in Europe in generating the electricity from nuclear stations. So nuclear is actually core of our electricity generations. That's why they are targeting the station. That's why they're targeting the transformations and generation facilities.
30% of your power has now been hit, we're being told. What impact is that having on the people of Ukraine?
It's a huge impact, and the winter is coming. To some extent, it is because around 10 million of Ukrainians already have to leave the nation. And frankly speaking, the economy is not working. We wanted to. We will lose by the end of this year the third of our GDP, and most of the factories are not consuming much of the energy. So we managed to balance the electricity. We are having the influx from the European Union. So we, with the assistance of our friends and partners, we're coping with the situation. But that's what Russians are actually doing. They're trying to bring us down to the Stone Age.
How concerned are you that you won't be able, if this continues, you won't be able to keep your people warm in the grueling winters that you face in Ukraine?
We are really worrying that this might happen. That's why we are going around the globe and even here, trying to get as many generators as possible, to bring the warmth to Ukrainian houses. It's the enormous task. We are talking about the biggest nation by size in Europe and 40 million people. So this is enormous task for our government. So far, we are managing this.
Okay, but as far as these strikes are concerned, it looks as though you've not been able to do much to stop them. What do you need?
We've done, to give you figures, out of 84, for example, recent attack, 84 drones, we managed to bring down 50 plus. So the anti-air is working quite effectively. Also, you can't expect that they are attacking from all three directions, and you can expect to stop everything. So what we need, and that's what we are starting with the conversation here half a year ago, that we need to close down our skies, either by the planes, and we are not receiving none of them, or by anti-air defense systems, which we are starting to receive. But some nations, wealthy nations, are given 1 or 2 pieces. We cannot operate with such a number. I hope that Secretary Walls will be able to, with his American colleagues, will be able to find out the solution for that.
Okay, it's good to speak to you, Mr. Ambassador, as always. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.